You're listening to the Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who've been hearing me talk about the Constitution Party almost every night and would like to know how to get some information on the Constitution Party sent to you, or would like to talk to somebody about the Constitution Party, call Karen Scarborough. Karen Scarborough. Her phone number is 810-674-8094. That's 810-674-8094. She's our national membership director. Her fax is 810-673-1954. That's 810-673-1954. So, give her a call. Ask her for a packet of information. Ask her for a membership application. And jump on board. Come on in, folks. The water's fine.
Excuse me, sir. Is this the Delta House? Sure. Come on in.
After last night's conversation, I thought maybe it's time for a little party, folks. Maybe we all should get drunk. I want to talk about that tonight. And the reason I want to talk about it, folks, is, Tim, could you unplug those phones for me, please? The reason I want to talk about it, folks, is these are ploys that our enemies use all the time. Either you're anti-Semitic, or another good one is if you charge for your material, then you're not credible because you're making money off of it. And I wonder why they never say anything to Encyclopedia Britannica. Have you ever priced a set of Encyclopedia Britannicas? Yet, if you spend a good portion of your life doing research, doing without, in libraries, working your butt off, and you compile your research, and you sell it. The reaction of the socialists is extreme. I've had people actually get up to the microphone and say, do you charge for your materials? Yes, I do. This is the United States of America. I believe in capitalism. I believe that I should realize the fruits of my labor. You're not credible. You're not credible because you should be doing this for the good of humanity, and if you're not giving this information out for free, then it's not good information. Well, that's a lie, folks. And what's more, most of you know it. At least those of you who aren't socialists, you know it. Just trying to open up some conversation here that I think needs to be talked about. For instance, what if I was a drunk? What if I was a drunk? What if I spent every day in the bottle and staggered around and bumped into the wall and fell down and everything else? Gee, would that mean that the information that I've given out on this broadcast is all of a sudden not true? Does that mean the inability of anyone out there to prove me wrong all of a sudden, arbitrarily, makes me wrong? Is that the way it goes? Did you hear the emotion and the accusation in that guy's voice last night? I have a friend who knows Bob Fletcher, and he says Bob Fletcher's a good guy, and you're a drunk. You're a drunk. Well, that wasn't true, and of course you heard Tim's testimony, a man who sees me every day. And once more, I challenge anyone to show me any drunk in this nation who can do 1 hour radio program 5 nights a week with new, fresh, accurate, heavily and deeply researched and sourced material each and every night, who can publish a newspaper the quality of Veritas, which quite frankly puts most of the major newspapers in this nation to shame and completely buries the spotlight. Not only does it bury the spotlight, but our distributors make more money. And those people who refer subscriptions, who are subscribers, who refer other subscribers, make more money. Isn't that incredible? How in the world could a drunk ever do all that? Plus travel and speak and be on time to his speaking engagements and deliver rousing, accurate, inspiring speeches, who could write a book, The Quality of Behold a Pale Horse. And yet all of this seems to mean nothing to some people who heard from somebody else that I'm a drunk. He's a drunk, go listen to him. What if I were on drugs? Heaven forbid. What if I smoked pot? Oh my, he smokes pot. Oh, it can't possibly be credible. Well, I don't smoke pot, folks, but what if I did? Have any of you proven me wrong? Has anybody out there proven anything that they've heard on this broadcast wrong? I'll admit I've made some mistakes once in a while. I can remember one mistake I made one night that I've kicked myself in the butt for. After having done several broadcasts talking about Thomas Jefferson ripping apart the King James Version of the Bible and making his own Bible because he didn't believe that God could ever be what was described in the King James Bible. One night I got on and I was talking about Thomas Jefferson making his own Bible, and every time I said Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin came out of my mouth. And later when I listened to the tape, I couldn't figure out how I had done such a thing, except that I was very tired that night when I did that broadcast. I made some mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But in the body of my research and the information that I presented to you, has anybody ever proven me wrong? The answer is no. The answer is no, because everyone who's ever set out to try and prove me wrong has always proven me right. Always. In every single instance. And they've had to resort to outright lies, ploys. Ooh, Bill wrote in his book that Adam Weishaupt wrote Wealth of Nations. That's not what I said at all. I said in my book that Adam Weishaupt published Wealth of Nations. It was written by Adam Smith. Or Bill Cooper wrote all about aliens, and the aliens are here. Never mind every speech I gave on UFOs or the possibility of extraterrestrial visitation of the Earth. I made it very clear that I don't know the reality of extraterrestrial visitation or the reality of extraterrestrials. And in my book, I clearly state that I believe it's the greatest hoax in the history of the world in order to facilitate the formation of a one-world government based upon an artificial alien threat to the Earth. These are the kind of ploys people use. And when they can't deal with the facts, they attack the person. And I told you that Bob Fletcher is an agent provocateur. He can't deal with the facts, so he is now telling people that I'm a drunk. And if any of you out there have been told by him personally that I am a drunk, I would like to have your affidavit put on paper and notarized by a notary public, because if I can get more than one, I'm going to sue Mr. Fletcher because he's a liar. I understand John Truckman made similar statements and is making similar statements, and if anyone will contact me who has heard him make those statements, if you will be so kind as to put those into written affidavits, signed and notarized as being true and correct. And you don't have to put under penalty of perjury, just true and correct. I believe you. As long as it's notarized. I will sue Mr. Truckman also. You see, ladies and gentlemen, when I expose people or organizations or give you facts, the results of research, you never, ever hear me attack an individual person or his character. I tell you what they've done and what's bad about it, what's wrong about it, and why it should not be done. If they repeatedly lie, and I can prove that they lie, I will tell you that they have lied or that they are a liar. But you've never, ever heard me resort to the vilification of the character of any other person, ever. I've never called anyone a drunk. I've never called anyone a drug addict. I have never attacked their mother or their father. I have never accused them of being on drugs or anything else. I've never accused anyone of evil even. Even our enemies, I have told you, ladies and gentlemen, believe in their heart that they're doing the best thing for mankind. They really believe it. So what is it that makes you so eager to swallow the bullshit? What is it that makes you so eager to all of a sudden flush years and years of research down the toilet because someone accuses somebody else of being a drunk? How does that happen? Are you really that stupid? I mean, really? Are you really that far gone over the edge? And if it's discrediting to sell the results of your research, your work, why is it that none of you have attacked Encyclopedia Britannica? Why is it that none of you have attacked the databases online that charge for access to those databases? Why is it that none of you have discredited the library because they charge you a couple of dollars for a library card? I mean, what is it with you? Here I've devoted my life. My life. I don't do anything else but this. And believe it or not, we don't make a lot of money. Nobody who engages in patriotic activities for the betterment of mankind or for the great mass of stupid sheeple out there gets rich. I can guarantee you that. It doesn't happen. So what is it that drives the great masses of sheep to believe things and to attribute certain traits to discrediting certain people who are credited with those traits. Ulysses S. Grant was one of the greatest generals that the United States has ever fielded. When Abraham Lincoln was approached by people who did not like Ulysses S. Grant's drinking, and he was informed that you better do something, Mr. President, because Ulysses S. Grant drinks too much. You know what the president said? You know what Abe Lincoln said in his wisdom? He said, "Pray, tell me the name of the spirits that he drinks. For I think we should give some to the other generals." I know that went right over a lot of your heads. You don't even know what the hell I'm talking about, do you? Many more of you should have received Veritas by now. What I'd like to do is open the phones and talk about this subject tonight. What is it that makes you so foolish and gullible? Many of you, I know many of you don't bite on these things, and as usual, when I say sheeple, if you're not a sheeple, I'm not talking to you. If it makes you angry and you are really upset about what you hear on this broadcast, on any night, I don't care which night it is, then you're the one I'm talking about because I've pushed your buttons. You're the one that needs to hear what I've got to say because I pushed your button. It hurts you. Makes you cringe because you know I'm talking about you. The other people who are not sheeple, they just laugh. And they're laughing at you. Yes, Bob Fletcher is an agent provocateur for all the reasons that I've stated and many more. For all the phony, bullshit, lying reports that they have pushed out from the militia of Montana. And the ordinary members of the militia of Montana didn't have anything to do with those reports, folks. They were all compiled, put together, and put out by John Truckman and Bob Fletcher to stir you up into doing something you should not do. Those guys went in town and got in trouble. And now we're hearing the 17th version of the story. And now there's a John Doe connected to it. Everybody's blaming this nameless person. And you all think you know the truth. Nobody knows the truth except the people who were involved. I would have liked to have heard the versions from all of the people who participated, but not presented as facts, as some people tried to do when they call this broadcast. Won't put up with that. You can tell your story. You can't present it as fact unless you can prove it's fact. And of course you can't. Well, the people who really know what happened are the people involved. And so far we have about 17 different stories, all claiming to be fact. All of them. And all different. And all substantially different. Yet you know it's fact, don't you? Well, you don't know it's fact. All I know is you took every single so-called intelligence report issued by the militia of Montana, coming from John Truckman and Bob Fletcher, lay them side by side and look at the outcome. And you'll see that it's all intentional disinformation, outright lies, with about 1% of truth attached. And you can all do it because I know all of you out there have received these pieces of trash. And that's what you should evaluate. They can't deal with that, neither can you. No. I'm a drunk. Well, I'm sorry, folks, but they were wrong again. It's another bullshit, erroneous lie report from the militia of Montana. And I mean it. If I can get several of you out there who've heard that from their lips, not from somebody else, from their own lips, to put it in writing, sign it as being true and correct, and have it notarized, send it to me. I'm going to sue them. And if they've ever said it on radio and you taped it, please send me the tape. That's better than a signed affidavit, because it's in their own words. So please do that, folks. I'm tired of putting up with all this crap. We finally impressed Tom Valentine to the point where he says no comment now instead of the lies that he used to say. You wondered why he was doing that all of a sudden? Because, folks, if you mess with me, you better be really good. Because I know how to dig. And I know how to document. And I know how to prove. And I never make statements that I can't prove. Although I make some errors once in a while. But by and large, that's all you hear from all of these other people. Bullshit. The number's 602-337-2524. 602-337-2524. I want to talk about these issues. I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this stuff? Where does it put you? What does it mean to you? Do you know?
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I want more. That's what I want. That's what I want. Yeah. That's what I want. Your love is giving.
Ah, yes, folks, that's what motivates most people, money. And in this country, there's nothing bad about it, as long as you're not hurting anybody else with it. Good evening, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Bill. This is Virginia in Texas. I just wanted to call and ask you about your Pale Horse book. How much is that, and can I get it at the usual addresses?
It's $30 postpaid if you're a non-member, $25 postpaid if you are. And yes, make check or money order out to Annie, A-N-N-I-E.
Okay. And same address, right?
Yes.
Okay. I sent to the Veritas about a week or so ago. I'll be getting it soon.
Well, you missed the first issue.
Yeah, I know.
They're all gone.
I'm SOL then.
And a lot of you sent in, you were listening that night. Somebody said, well, can I send $5 and get the first issue? I said, well, if there's any left, but personally I don't think that there's going to be, and you're taking a chance, but you can try. We must have got 100 $5 bills, and they're all going back. Because there aren't any.
Upper amount, I think. $50 was it?
Yeah, you'll get your subscription, but it'll start with number 2 issue.
Okay. I just want to know about your book. Is that the only one you've written?
Yes, I'm working on 2 more.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
as soon as they're done and ready, then I'll let you know.
Okay, I enjoy your program, and I find it hard to, swallow some of this stuff that I'm hearing myself, so I'm enjoying your program anyway, if nobody else is.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What do you think about all, well, I happen to know for a fact that a lot of people not only enjoy this program, but depend upon it for accurate information.
Well, I tell you. Yeah, have you heard any more on that omnibus bill, by the way? It's up for debate.
Are you talking about Clinton's...
terrorism bill.
No, it's...
That was just kind of in an idea form for this period.
No, it's written and it's in there, but it's sort of floating around in limbo when it.
Yeah, I know who they're going to use it against when it does come out.
Oh, of course.
Is there any way we can stop that? By the way.
Yes, call your congressman and.
I already did. I called several.
And keep calling and fax and write letters and everything.
Okay, well I don't have a computer, but I'll write letters and.
Sometimes they listen.
Do they?
Yes, but I can't.
Well, let's hope they do.
I can't ever predict when they're going to listen and when they're not.
Well, this is true. But keep up the good work, and there are some of us out here that do enjoy your program.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Good night. 602-337-2524 is the number. I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this stuff? Good evening. You're on the air.
Bill Cooper?
Yes.
This is Chuck from Virginia.
Hi, Chuck.
And I just want to say something that you say at the end of your program, all the people out there, is that God bless you. Well, God bless you, Bill Cooper.
Well, thank you.
Because you're definitely a voice in the wilderness.
Thank you. I try to be.
And last night you said that you were a Christian, and I am a Christian also. And I just want to say that people like you who aren't Christian do tell the truth. And I just want to tell everybody who's listening to listen to Bill Cooper, because he cut through all the BS and he tells facts as they are. And we need to hear this in this day and age with this information.
Thank you.
And I just want to say again, keep up the good work, and God bless you.
God bless you too, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, it is the wilderness. Yes, I do try. But don't measure the truth by whether someone's a Christian or not. I know we all want to think that because someone's a Christian, they're going to tell the truth. But the truth is that truthful people tell the truth. It has nothing to do with religion. If you don't believe that, just turn on your TV some Sunday morning and listen to all the lies that float around from Christian mouths. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello, Bill Cooper. Howard from Philadelphia.
Hello, Howard.
But you might like to hear how the Constitution Party meeting in Villanova went tonight.
I would love to hear about that.
Okay, I just got back from it. We actually, most people left about 11:30. We packed the room.
Wonderful.
Didn't overpack the room, but we packed the room, and we probably got about 20 or 30 new members.
Well, overpacking is not comfortable for anybody, but it's always nice to see an overwhelming response, isn't it?
Well, Mike made it very clear that he wanted people that were going to be activists, not people that were going to sit on their thumbs. I coined the phrase armchair patriot, and, I said on my no-con-con list that the people that didn't show up and, had jobs and whatnot, they could have shown up, and the only real excuse I thought of the people for not showing up was maybe they had a dialysis treatment.
Well, I got to tell you, my friend, if you packed that room and they were all activists, then you've done something remarkable, because it's very rare to find that many activists in a whole state, much less in any area to attend a political meeting.
Well, what we were trying to do was...
How many people were there, by the way?
I would say anywhere between 50 and 60.
Well, that's a lot more than attend Republican and Democratic Party meetings.
Well, and, typically, a lot of times the meetings we had there have been about half that many. I know last month was about half that amount. This month, due to your show and due to a lot of the advertising on the Internet, we got a number of people that come from decent distances in Pennsylvania, and a lot of people from New Jersey.
Wonderful.
But... we essentially, we tried to set up county coordinators, I guess, or people that would be responsible for, getting people in their own county and motivating. And we discussed the Conference of the States.
Yeah.
And let people know where they were.
Let me ask you something. If I was a drunk, do you think all those people would have gone?
Honestly?
Yeah.
I don't think they would have. It would have much mattered, but...
that's what I think, but somebody out there seems to think it matters.
I mean, let me tell you, most of the people who were there, they were pretty committed, and the majority of the people were pretty well informed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's from listening to your show or from doing other things. It's probably a conglomeration of informational sources, but they did seem to be pretty well informed.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter as long as they're awake and using their brain, thinking.
Did you happen to see the letter that I put on the Internet from the majority leader of the Senate of Pennsylvania?
Are you kidding? If you see me on the Internet at all, I tell you what, you ought to throw a big party and publish it in the headlines of the New York Times.
And
I hate computer.
Listen, I hear you.
Talk formats.
I hear you, but that's how I make my money.
People.
You're consulting.
People frequent those things, and they download files, and they think the files are accurate.
Well, can I read you just one paragraph from the letter that the Senate Majority Leader F. Joseph Loper sent to me?
Go ahead.
On official stationery. You'll like this. This is about. He wrote this Monday, probably after our conference in Harrisburg, and he says, "Dear Mr. Such and Such, my name." He says, "Thank you for contacting my office, all that about Senate Resolution 12, which is the Conference of States resolution." Then he says, this is very interesting, "The Constitution of the United States of America is indeed a sacred document that has withstood the test of time. It is understandable why the public would be skeptical of any measures to amend a piece of such historic standing. The Constitution is the groundwork for government to serve the people. Too often, however, it seems that the people are serving the government as a result of the unfunded mandates. It is for that reason that Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution enables the states to amend it. I am sure that you and I will keep a close eye on the events surrounding this conference of the states, should such a conference be convened. Now, you would think that someone writing a letter such as this didn't vote for it. He voted for it.
Well, it's obvious. What he's saying there
is
because of unfunded mandates, it has to be changed.
Well, he is...
And the Constitution has nothing to do with unfunded mandates. The federal government has no rights under the Constitution to make demands on states to fulfill unfunded mandates.
Well, the question, though, here is, if he's talking about Senate Resolution 12, which is supposedly this Conference of the States resolution...
What he's saying in that letter is very clear to me.
Oh, yes.
He wants the Conference of States, and he wants the Constitution changed.
Well, then he's obviously saying that the Conference of States must have the power to change the Constitution.
That's right. And he's also attributing the reason for it to unfunded mandates.
Now, this is...
I heard his message loud and clear.
Yeah, well, as did I when I read it. This is from Senator F. Joseph Loper. He is the Senate Majority Leader in Pennsylvania. He's a Republican.
Well, you better get rid of him.
Can I give his number over the air?
Sure, please do. And everybody call him. Tell him what you think of his stupid letter.
His phone number in Harrisburg is area code 717-0196.
Okay, repeat both of those numbers one more time.
Okay. This is Senate Majority Leader F. Joseph Loper, spelled L-O-E-P-E-R. His phone number is 717-787-1350. His fax number is 717-787-0196. Would you like the address as well?
No, that's good enough.
I imagine his phones will be hopping tomorrow. I just can't believe that he could send a letter out like this with such a mixed message.
Oh, you ought to see some of the letters I get that people send me that their congressperson and representatives and senators send them. They do it all the time. They have an absolute contempt for the American people and an arrogance that is beyond belief. I got to go. Take a break. Thank you.
Hold on. I can.
Whale Otis sees us! He loves us!
It feels so good to be back here at the Deck the Lake Club. We'd like to do for you now a tune entitled Shamalama Ding Dong. So hit it!
Never find me a girl who love me the way that you do. 'Cause you shamalama, ding dong, baby. You put the ooh mama into my plaza. Hey, that is why. You are my sugar lady. You put the shamalama, baby, ding dong. Hey, you put the ooh mama into my plaza.
Yes, and Swiss American Trading will put the Ramalama back into your smile, child, if you'll just give them a call at 1-800-289-2646. Have you ever held a real $20 gold piece in your hand? Well, I have, folks. In fact, I've got several of them. I'm not going to tell you where they are. You can come and dig up the floorboards if you want. You won't find them. But it feels good. I mean, it feels good. I mean, there's a reason for real money. Not only is it a commodity, not only can you make things with it, not only is it crucial to industry, and specifically the electronics industry and other things, you can make jewelry. It's heavy. It feels good. You know, if you've never held one in your hand, even if you think I'm full of baloney, You ought to get at least one $20 gold piece in your life just to hold in your hand to say that at least one time in your whole life you held some real money for just a few moments. Even if it is just a few moments, it's worth it. In fact, it's worth it just to stop by Swiss America Trading if you ever drive through Phoenix, just to ask Craig or somebody in there just to let you touch one. Just touch it. I'm telling you, once you see one right in front of your face, and you touch it, and you feel it, and you feel that weight, and the richness of the texture of the gold, then you know why Scrooge McDuck built that big old vault and likes to go in there and just sit on it all the time. Of course, I'm joking, folks. Only someone who lives their life by greed would do something like that. Remember, money is of no use unless it's put to use. Labor creates money, and money can be used to build wealth. Wealth is not a vault full of gold coins. Wealth is what you can buy with it. And remember, the dollar is plunging, and it may have reached a temporary respite, but it will continue its plunge until the American people are at the same standard of living level as the rest of the third world. And I say rest of the third world, folks, because we ain't number one anymore. We're not number two. We're not number three. We're not even close to the top. And we're still headed down. There's going to be a redistribution of wealth. The middle class is going to disappear. I've seen the plan. I've done the research. I've listened to the people who are bringing this about. None of it is hidden. It's all out in the open. Only the sheeple are still sitting on their couches saying, "Can't happen to me. This guy's nuts." Nope. Flick that there TV back over to Roseanne, Josie. And believe it or not, they did. Smart people are getting ready. When everything breaks down, and it will. In fact, this whole country may break up into several different countries before this is over. I don't want it to happen. I'm giving it my all to make sure that it doesn't happen. I don't leave here till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I leave here at midnight. When I get home, I usually don't go to bed till 2 or 3 in the morning. When I get up, I try to devote a little bit of time to my family, and I'm right back here and do it all over again, because it has to be done if we're going to live free. That's why I don't have any sympathy for people who tell me, "Well, I spend all my time working to make a living," as if I don't. But I'm not only working to make a living, I'm working to save the country. I'm working to prepare you. I'm working to wake people up, constantly digging and doing research and writing. And if you haven't seen Veritas yet, I'll tell you, I am really proud of that newspaper, and I'm proud of the people who helped me put it together. And part of that team, folks, was Swiss America Trading. So call them, 1-800-289-2646. Get a real $20 gold piece and hold it in your hand. And then call me up and tell me how it feels. I'll listen to you, because I like how it feels. 1-800-289-2646. Folks, you're going to be glad that you did.
I state your name.
I state your name.
Do hereby pledge allegiance to the frat.
Do hereby pledge allegiance to the frat.
With liberty and fraternity for all.
Amen.
What you just heard, folks, was the oath administered by the militia of Montana.
Let me tell you about the friends I know. They're kind of crazy, but they did the show. Take the party to the break of dawn. A Delta car, you can't go wrong. All the keys got ladies' names. Every girl falls into his hands. Food and candy playing time and night. And Mr. Warmer, she's the queen of the
Bill, this is Jeffrey from New Orleans with an update. First of all, Mississippi, good news. By the vote of 80 to 30, the House killed the Conference of the States Tuesday.
Wonderful.
Second, I have a list of the Government Operations Committee where the bill is going to. It's a long list. Would you want me to give it to you after the program or now?
Are you talking about Louisiana?
Yes.
I would prefer that you either fax it or have someone fax it to me tomorrow.
I'll call you tomorrow morning and give you the list. I can't fax it. I have to say it, but I will tell you this.
Okay.
The name of the bill has been changed to the Federal Unfunded Mandates Bill in Louisiana.
Oh, it's a stealth bill now.
Yes, it's a stealth bill, all right.
Okay,
our friends are trying to make 4 pages and decide what it is, but it's still the same old garbage.
Yeah, we have to watch the states where it's been killed, too, because they may reintroduce it under some other name as a stealth bill in those states.
I'm well aware of that, but when do you open tomorrow?
We open at 9 a.m. our time.
I know when that is. I'll get to you at that time with those committee names.
If I'm not here, give them to Pete.
I'll give them to Pete.
Okay.
Good enough.
Thanks, Jeff.
We'll keep in touch.
Okay.
Bye.
Good job. Okay, folks, 602-337-2524 is the number. Let's hear from you. What have you got to say? What's on your mind? What do you think of all this conversation that I started the show with tonight? Good evening. You're on the air.
Good evening, Mr. Cooper. We appreciate your work over in Das Kapital, Rick from D.C. And I just really wanted to say 2 things. When someone goes so low in their rhetorical approach to discourse as to go poor home fallacy, discredit the man, I was shocked that you spent 15 minutes on that, but it's your show, and irrelevant on that. And the second thing I have to say is, the language with the bull feces is probably objectionable to some of us, but you're doing a great job.
Bullshit.
Oh, well, you have a right to say that. It's your show. But nonetheless, we enjoy you. And please, continue the cause.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for calling.
Good evening.
Okay, folks, the reason I spent the time beginning the show on this is not because of what emanated from the bowels of Bob Fletcher or anybody else. It's because this kind of thing goes on all the time, and sooner or later people have to understand what it is and what it means and why it's done. That's why. And it needs to be discussed. Because too often that kind of thing happens, and too often you believe it. And you believe it and you think that the person hasn't got anything to say, whoever it happens to be. Doesn't have to be just me. There's a lot of good people out there whose whole lives have been ruined because they're not as strong as I am. I got guts of steel. Most people would have been destroyed a long time ago by what's been thrown at me. So this just isn't about me. A lot of good lives have been destroyed by being labeled anti-Semite or drunk or dope addict or all the other things that these people use when they can't deal with the facts. They try to destroy the person, and that's what I'm talking about. Good evening, you're on the air.
Good to be with you, Bill. I'm Vic, out of here in South Carolina with the Constitution Party.
Hello, Vic.
And I was talking to your buddy today, Aaron Russo. I told him you did him right last night.
Well, I think I did. I love the man. He's great.
Okay, about this militia of Montana and all this stuff. I'm a sort of a newcomer to your show. I told you I've been listening about 6 months.
Well, first place we use that term militia of Montana. When I do that, and I've made this statement many times, I'm talking about the leadership, specifically John Trockman and Bob Fletcher. There are a lot of good people in the militia of Montana. Their only crime is following the wrong leaders.
Yeah, that's what I understand. And from what I gather, then, that one of these men is like an agent provocateur, is what you said.
Yes, Bob Fletcher's been connected with the Black Projects, Ollie North, the Iran-Contra affair, and all kinds of things for a long time.
And see, I'll tell you right now, I'm not in a militia, or I'm not like involved in militias. And I'm just a fella. I hear what goes on this, like the shows in front of me, or that are on in front of you, and it sounds like there's like 4 or 5 wannabe shows comes on. Then there's you. You speak plain. See, like I'm a minister, and from what I understand, is a guy that speaks hard and he speaks plain, like them old-fashioned ministers used to preach on heaven and hell, and was just as rough as a cob. Well, those the kind of guys that usually square with you, and that's the one thing I picked up from listening to you right away. And a man don't talk like you talk is trying to get something past somebody.
Oh no, you can't talk like I talk and get people to follow you or like you or give you anything or be popular or get great ratings. My job is to wake people up any way I can, and I found out a long time ago that being nice doesn't do it. You got to be truthful, and you got to be straight, even if it hurts. It doesn't matter who it hurts or helps. It's got to be done.
So it's got to be like you. It seems to me, from what I've listened to, you put it right over the plate, waist high. You just daring them to swing at it.
That's right.
And about the truth. So if these boys, what I can't understand is if these militia members, if they know that their men, their leaders, are involved in this, why don't they just get rid of them, or not get rid of them in that sense, but just tell the boys, fellas, we don't need you.
Well,
I do not understand what's going on if this is such a.
Well, that's what they should do. Whether or not they'll do it or not is a different story. And whether or not the so-called leaders of that militia really have the country at heart is telling, because if they really did, they would have stepped down a long time ago.
All right. So I guess you making enemies among the militia people and the people that side with the militia of Montana.
No, the only enemies I make are the enemies who are already enemies. What I'm doing is waking up people who are becoming real Americans, and we'll fight the battle together against all the rest of anybody that wants to come up and fight it. I don't care.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, we're trying to fight a political one right now. Let's get this nation straightened out politically.
Well, that's what we got to try. We've got to be responsible and try to do everything we can without any bloodshed, and be responsible Americans. And if that fails and they force us to, then we'll use what our founding fathers gave us as a last resort.
Yeah. On this, you need to know what the legislative bill is for the state of South Carolina. Any boys out there listening want to know what the Conference of the States bill number is and who to call?
Yeah.
The bill number is 3592 in the state of South Carolina. It's still called the Conference of the States bill. And you want to get a hold of the committee members, you can call. It's a 1-800 number, so you go ahead and use it. 1-800-922-1539, and ask them about the bill, ask them where it's at, and you just harass them. Basically, Representative Wilkins,
well, wait a minute. Let's straighten up. Let's not harass them. just tell them what you think about that bill and what you think about the Constitution.
I misspoke as you did on Ben Franklin and Mr. Jefferson.
Okay.
What I mean is to aggravate them. I mean, let them know how we feel about this thing. Representative Wilkins is the one that sponsored the thing in the state of South Carolina, and his phone number is 803-734-3125. So let him know that we don't appreciate anybody messing with the Constitution of the United States of America.
Well put, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
602-337-2524 is the number. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hi, Bill.
Yes.
This drunk business has incensed me to no end. How these people can do this.
Well, they do it all the time. I'm not incensed at all, even though you may have thought I was. I
am. But they're trying to do that to someone that works as hard as you do and is trying to do what you do.
Well, it's not just me. They do it to a lot of people, a lot of good people.
You know, I want to tell you one thing. I had a grandfather who died in 1970. He worked in a mill out here called Copper Weld for 50 years. He worked his way up from sweeping the floors to near top management. And he was a drunk. Living in 130-degree temperatures for 12 hours a day. He didn't have to.
And he was still a good man, wasn't he?
During World War II, they couldn't draft him. He was so important to running that facility.
There you go.
That is how important he was for a drunk. And I want to ask you one more thing. All these years you've been doing this, how do you put up with this? My friends and I want to know, how do you put up with this?
Well, at first it was
drinking.
At first it wasn't easy, and I do take a drink once in a while, folks. And, but I'm not a drunk, and very seldom does anybody ever see me take a drink because I just don't do it that often. And when I do decide to drink, I drink at home. I've never been in a bar around here. I don't even know what the bars look like inside. That's just the way I am. If I want to have a drink, I'll invite somebody over, or I'll sit down at home and pour myself a drink, and that's it.
I mean, what I'm saying is I tell people about all these things that are going on, and they think I'm from another planet. Everyone. There's very few people that listen.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you the truth. I would like to get all of us who can think and who understand and who appreciate liberty and go to another planet. Wouldn't that be fun?
We have to go. They should go.
Wouldn't that be fun to pioneer a new civilization and build a place where everybody could be free and safe?
Well, wasn't that this country in 1776?
Yeah, but the people abdicated. And for a good portion of my life, so did I, and probably so did you and everybody else.
Well, I'm young, so not as long as most other people.
Well, good for you, because the future belongs to the youth of the nation. Unless the youth get involved, we're going to pass away, and they're going to be left with the mess.
But just like I've seen, have you seen the young people in the streets walking around? Have you seen their faces?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they don't know where they're going to be. They're lost. Yes. And they're the people that need to be reached out to.
Yeah, you're right. They do.
Oh, all right. God bless you, Bill.
Thank you very much. Thank you for calling. 602-337-2524. I was frantically looking around for a copy of my book because right in the first few pages that I wrote, I talked about the vacant stares and the empty minds of the children of the nation. But I couldn't find it. So 602-337-2524. Good evening. You're on the air.
Oh, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Ken. I'm calling from San Diego. I guess you got the idea that not everybody believes all those stories that people have been telling about you, so...
Well, the truth is nobody knows what to believe.
Yeah, but I mean, sounds like you got a lot of support out there.
But the point is it doesn't make any difference. If you can take the information that I give you, it doesn't matter, and it turns out to be right. It doesn't matter if I'm a drunk or not, does it?
Oh, no, I agree with that. Yeah, that's the thing. Even if you walked on four legs and you were still telling the truth, that's the important part. I had a quick question for you.
Have you ever heard of Stanton T. Friedman?
Oh, that's the UFO guy, isn't it?
Yeah, the UFO guy. He's the New World Order proponent. He's a Zionist.
Yeah.
He promotes world government. In fact, he ends every talk that he gives about extraterrestrials and the Roswell incident with how the whole world has to dissolve the national borders and come together because we're going to have to, as he puts it, who speaks for planet Earth? Oh, and he always, when somebody says, well, what about William Cooper? Have you heard of William Cooper? He says, William Cooper always talks about the protocols. He's an anti-Semite.
Oh, I've never heard you say that.
No, you never have, and I'm not an anti-Semite.
Oh, I know that.
But this is the kind of stuff that these people do.
Got a quick question. This so-called terrorist incident that took place on subways in Japan. Do you suspect or have any idea if there's any connection between that and this latest bill that was introduced in the Congress here?
No, I don't know if there is. I'm sure that there could be, but I think there is a connection between that and the bombing of the World Trade Center and a lot of shooting of a lot of people in McDonald's and all these other kinds of things. Yes, I think there's definitely a connection.
But it's like,
and I think the connection lies at the heart of the Central Intelligence Agency, to tell you the truth.
Because I heard that they put the New York subways on alert or something when they heard about this thing in Japan, and I thought, that sounds like it's made to order.
Let me tell you something. As these socialist, Marxist, New World Order people get closer to wanting to implement their goals, and as we get stronger and give them more opposition, and they begin to panic, you're going to see them instigate some of the most terrible terrorist attacks inside the borders of the United States that you ever dreamed of could happen, in order to force the sheeple to get down on their knees and beg the government to take away all of our guns and enslave us. Now, you mark my word, I tell you, I'm going to be 100% right on this.
Yeah, well, I was trying to explain that to a friend of mine also, who was saying, well, wouldn't you want the government to take care of the terrorists? And
You notice today they were talking about the gas attack in the subway in Japan as being attributed to a religious cult.
Yeah, I caught something like that.
The fundamentalist religions are going to be blamed for all of this because they want to get rid of these people. They want to get rid of Christians, Orthodox Jews, and fundamentalist Islamic followers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought you might have a thought on that. Anyway, I sent you a couple of tapes last week.
I think what I said was a couple of thoughts.
All right, whatever.
I think it qualifies. I think.